but I don't. Hey,
Hi, girl. How are ya?
I am great. I was actually watching Leap Year. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, but not for a long time.
Okay, well, if you have Prime, it's on Prime right now, and I didn't finish it
Oh,
yet. I freaking love it. It's making me so happy to watch it.
yes. I love a good like rom-com type
Yeah,
movie.
me too, me too. Okay,
Like,
yeah, so I'm good. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm just,
Nice
I was
out
telling you I'm
today.
just on walks. Hot, but I'll be cooling down soon.
Rapidly. I will be cooling off rapidly. Okay,
Yes.
let's get to it. You said let's do Bachelor first because you're like chomping at the bit. It was the women tell
I'm
all.
chomping at the bit.
I know
Oh, but
people
didn't you
don't
say you
like
had a
it.
question?
Yeah, that was my question. Have you ever seen Leap Year?
Oh,
That's my little
shit.
question.
Yes. I have. Okay, yeah, I'm chomping at the bit because as I told you, we haven't discussed any of this, by the way, for the people listening. Um, Other than I sent Emily a text and I just told you, I was like, I had to pause this like 20 times. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but still, it was I was getting so pissed off I couldn't just sit and watch it.
Yeah, I watched it Monday night. I watched it live. But then I had to go back and rewatch it because I felt like I missed what Rose had said about Carolina. So I like went back and rewatched it to see if I could get any more clear on the deal. And I feel like I'm more clear kind of, but I would love to have a recording of their whole talk, but that's fine.
I tried to like okay, so started watching it Monday. There's
Yeah.
a line going over if you hear it. I started watching Monday and I was like, um, okay, I'm just gonna watch this. And I don't even know, just a few minutes in, I was like, I can't watch this shit. Like, I'm already pissed.
Yeah. What were you so
But
pissed about?
you know what? I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, say it.
Dina disgusts me. I think she is a piece. And I mean, that's like my reaction. I don't really think that about her. She has good reason to act how she acts. Like, I get all of that. But just on another level of like, I get really angry or like agitated or something when people act like they know what's best for everyone else and they know better and they're so good. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, worry about your own fucking life, you know? And
Yeah,
that's
I
how
found her
I felt.
strange. Yeah, I found her strange because then at the end when she's like all upset at him about like meeting the family and people like I don't know if I'm just more down to earth or something. Like I don't know what to say because I feel like when Grant communicated, he communicated well. And like everybody's like taking what he says like totally the wrong way. Like when she's like, "You said that meeting my family was make or break." Like that was clearly to me, that was like a previous interview. Like they interviewed him like before he actually went on Dina's date. And he was
Oh,
like, that's how I took it. He was like, well, meeting her family could be like a make or break thing. Like it just was something he said.
I,
And
so
then
I
she was
didn't.
like, you didn't tell me that it was make or break. And I was like, that's not
Yeah.
even, you're like totally taking his word out of context. Like, what is your deal?
Yeah. So I didn't even put together or consider that that was a previous interview, but still, I just thought people can, like, both things could be true. Like, in a moment, he could be like, God, this is kind of make or break. I don't know how I feel about this. And then process it and then recognize, oh my God, there are all these other reasons I don't want to be with her. It really wasn't that I didn't meet her family, even though that felt big in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't the thing. Um, but the
Yes. And
thing for
then
me,
she was like, it's my choice whether I wanted him to meet some of my family or not. And I was like, what? Like, what is this? What is this story? This random story that you just have come up with? Like, why didn't
right,
you say that like from the beginning? Because now I feel like you're a liar
a
almost
liar.
because you're
Yeah.
like,
fucking
well, my
liar because she
my family doesn't want to meet you. And then she's like, well, actually, it was my decision.
she blamed it on them to him, and then she came back and said, "Actually, I'm the one that decided it because I didn't want to have to deal with trying to like have a conversation with them, with him too, about why the process is okay." But my thing was, even when he came out on stage and he said what he said to her about that, because when she asked him, she did not clarify to him there in that moment that it was her decision either. So,
No.
like,
Huh.
my thing was, she wants to preach all this accountability to Carolina, but she's not living in integrity with herself. She's not being accountable. So,
Yes.
focus on yourself. Like, quit putting, like, projecting all this shit that you need to work on somebody else.
Hmm.
I hate it when people do that. It's like, no, until you have every single thing straight in your life, which is, by the way, never going to happen, quit trying to like make everybody else wrong and be. So there are multiple things. I'll start with the accountability thing because it's up right now. But when she said that Carolina was not being accountable because she didn't say to Rose, like, I am so sorry. I should not have said that. How that, I can't believe how that made you feel. I'm so sorry about that. Well, to me, that's not accountability because I think you can be accountable and say, I really am apologetic about how that impacted you. I hate how it impacted you. And also, it was really important for me and my relationship with Grant to go talk to Grant about supposedly this thing he said, because I can understand not wanting to keep a rose or not wanting to stay and possibly fall further in love and marry someone that you think said something like that about you. Like, I'm thinking about someone else when I'm with you. Well, I wouldn't want to marry him either.
Yes. I think that the whole like all the girls saying, well, you had a rose, so you shouldn't be talking to him about it. And the rest of us were on the chopping block. Like, I don't think that in my mind, I think
Yeah.
Grant knows before the cocktail party even happens, like who he has his best connections with. I think all the
Oh,
Bachelor
yeah.
and Bachelorettes, I think that they know going into the cocktail party who they have their best connections with. And if you, I understand like one conversation can change things, whatever, like blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't care. But if you
Yeah,
are
but
saying like you may or may not go home based on one conversation at the cocktail party, then clearly your connection was not strong enough to begin with.
I
And
agree.
who cares? You're probably going to go home anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I
so
totally
move on.
completely.
Like, the whole
Yeah.
line of like, oh, well, you ruined everybody else's. Like, no,
And they were
Grant
like,
either
are
has
you
a
going
connection
to,
with you or he don't, or he doesn't.
right. And then they were like, were you going to give your rose back? And she was like, yes, I was. They couldn't even hear her say that because they were yelling over her. Like, why ask the question? But I feel like, I mean, I just feel like actually, Dina and Serafina were giving mean girl vibes, and I just didn't like it at all. I felt like, okay, first of all, accountability is not the definition that you give Dina, because that's like what you think. And even if you think that is the right definition of it, then live it. Live it yourself because you're not.
Yeah.
The
Just
second
wanting
thing,
choice words, like, just that was just so nitpicky. Like, I want, like, to have, you have to specifically
right,
say it like this, like, very nitpicky. Yeah,
right.
Carolina might not be taking accountability. Okay, fine, whatever. Move on. Like, who cares? It's not your problem, anyways. It's not your problem.
Well,
That's her problem.
that's true. But that's true also. Like, even if she's not, like, why are you so upset about it? Then that tells me you have something that you need to go work on in yourself if you're that triggered by something that doesn't even involve you.
That's exactly right because it's Rose. It's between her and Rose. So if
Yeah.
Rose thinks that Carolina's not owning up to it, then whatever. Then
Right.
yeah, that's Rose's thing. But Rose wasn't even like Rose was just like, this is what happened. I'm upset about it. It's done and over.
Right.
Done and over.
So then there was one more thing with Dina, and then there was something with Serafina. So the other thing with Dina that really showed, I thought, her true colors and I have a feeling by the look on your face, you might know what I'm going to say.
I'm
She
just laughing because I'm like, okay, go ahead.
she was like, you acted like I was responsible for you getting sent home. No, if anything, I bought you another week. I'm responsible for the reason you stayed. What fucking bullshit? Like Grant doesn't have his, like, can't make his own decisions. Now Dina's
She
making
really
decisions for
took
Grant.
she took so much ownership of him asking her what was going on, like
Oh my,
like she was like made of gold or something in his eyes. And I'm like, okay, but who was the one girl at the beginning? She wasn't there for the women tell all. And he asked her her opinion about like the group date. And she's
yeah,
gone, you know? And like,
yeah,
this is something you'll like. So Jeremy was literally like, I forget, I wrote down his quote. It was like, obviously he didn't pick you guys, so get over it. Move on. Like,
yeah,
you obviously weren't the ones. And I was like cracking up when he said that because they're all like, still, I
right.
felt like Dina was still fighting like she was the one that was ending up with Grant instead
She
of,
just disgusted me. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but you're right. But I
I
feel
did not
like
like that line that she bought her another week either.
no,
I did not
it
like
was
it at all because I felt like Carolina was not going to make it to the end anyways. Like, in my opinion, because there's just a
yeah,
lot of stuff, like a cloud around her, just a lot of
yeah.
stuff there that, like, how can Grant even build a relationship because of all of the like
Yeah.
crud, you know? So
And
I
some
think
of it wasn't even like anything that she actually did. It was just all these women like acting like dickwads to her. Like
yeah,
I don't like it, but I feel like because I mean we everyone knows this has been listening. Like I don't think Carolina acted in any way that was so terrible that people like should have behaved the way they did. But I also, I mean, I can understand people feeling how they felt and all of that for some of it because they're in a pressure cooker. But
yeah,
I just felt like that statement for me was, it was just mean girl. It was just mean girl. And it was like, okay, so like if I was Carolina, I'd be like, okay, so you're saying I had no relationship with him, no connection. Like there was no other reason that he would want me around than because you said, "Oh, I'm I'm so great, I need to stay." Or like then if he puts that much stock in you, then why aren't you still like there? Why are you sitting here
yeah,
beside me? You know?
yeah. Usually I feel like when they ask somebody's opinion about somebody else, they're like more friendship based with that person. And like that's what they spend their time on. They're not spending their time on getting to know each other. Like they're just like kind of like,
Yeah,
well, give me your
that's
opinion
a good
about this
point.
person. I
That's a good
think,
point. I really don't want a man asking me my opinion about another girl he's dating, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
I would be like, ew, I don't want to know anything. Like, I don't want to get involved in that.
yeah.
Uh,
Like, can't we talk about each other?
yeah,
I
but
think,
did you? Oh, go ahead.
I just think it was just messy. Like, I think if they would have, if somebody would have been able to clearly articulate Carolina's behavior in the house clearly
Hmm.
to give people a better picture of it, then I think maybe more people would be on like the women's side, but they weren't able to do that. It was just all this catty bickering because what I got out of like the whole Rose drama was like kind of that like Carolina was like badgering Rose almost like they're friends and they were like discussing, but she made it seem like Carolina like wouldn't drop it until she got like a full clear picture of what Grant said to Rose. Like I
Hmm.
think that maybe that was some of the issue with Carolina was that like
Hmm.
she kind of self imploded a little bit is what I got out of her because it seemed like she was from what I understood from Rose, it made it seem like she was just like searching for information like from other people like well what did you guys talk about, well tell me all of it, like I want to know everything. And then she would feel bad afterwards after she heard something like oh well then he must not like me that much because I told him I have epilepsy and he didn't tell me something personal about himself. So
Okay.
clearly like she just like spiral. I mean, I
Spiral
think
down.
she's a good person. I think she has lots of like confident characteristics and like I think she's very good at navigating herself,
Yeah.
but I think that, she perseverated a lot on like Grant's relationships with other people and also like she couldn't just take it for what it was. Like, hey, we had a great date. And just remind yourself, we had a great date. We had a great connection. I can't wait to talk to him again and then talk to him again and then keep building that relationship. She would be like, well, we had a great date. Oh, wait, he likes this person too. So now what does that mean for me? Oh, wait, he said this to this person. So like all
Yeah.
this like backsliding instead of just like building
Yeah.
herself up, which I mean,
I
it would be
can
hard to
agree.
do. I'm not like faulting her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can agree with that, but since the epilepsy thing was actually the third thing I wanted to talk about, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So first of all, the what I was going to say about it was, like I have like disabilities and I have chronic conditions, and it's been something that I really kept secret for a long time. And then even when I started saying I have Ehlers-Danlos or I was diagnosed with POTS or whatever, I still pretended like everything was totally fine in my life. Like no one saw ever, and they still really don't because like they don't have to. But I talk about it more now. But no one ever saw like the days and days and days that I lay on the couch or
Yeah.
the way I plan to be able to do things that are important to me or like people maybe can pass judgment on the kind of all the supplements, all the biohacking I do, the way I eat, the way I like make sure I live my life without understanding that all of that was born out of me literally not being able to get out of bed. Like I used to crawl around my apartment because my blood pressure was so low I couldn't
Hmm.
stand up. So like for me, I'm willing to do all of that and to be super mindful because I want to have as vibrant of a life as I possibly can. But it's like so vulnerable. And I can speak for the dating thing because like I used to not want to tell anyone any of this about me, especially once I decided like I want a committed relationship because I thought, well, nobody's going to want to deal with that. Nobody, or like, how do I
Yeah.
say I don't work like, like a normal person? Well, in quotes, normal person works. Like, I don't work
Hmm.
like a 40-hour a week job and I can't, like, my body doesn't work that way. And I don't even think of it like I can't work like that because I totally embrace my own rhythms and my own body. And I like have learned to work with them and that they are actually perfect and beautiful. But it's, it is really vulnerable, especially in this day and age where women, like, it's glorified for women to like work a 40-hour a week and take care of their kids and take care of their house. And like, there's no way in hell that I want to do that or could do that or any of it. So, but I think when you're
Hmm.
dating, does a man want a woman who will do and can do all of that, or is he cool with the way my body works and my rhythms, or that I'm gonna need more rest over here? There's certain things that I won't say I can't do them. I can. I just have to plan. And so I really felt for her when she told him, like, I understood the magnitude and the depths of that. And
Yeah.
then when she was talking about it on the Women Tell All and they panned to Serafina and her face, it really made me not like Serafina because I'm like, Serafina, the look on her face was like, she thought that was so ridiculous and like such a joke. And I don't know, like I immediately was just like, ooh, because there's no empathy there for what it takes. And so I could see why Carolina would go into this vulnerability hangover, right? Like oh my God, I just shared this and I really like him and I don't know if he likes me back now. Like, what if that's the thing that's just like, I know in that
Yeah,
moment he
then
said,
she needs to talk to him about it. Like, that's the thing that frustrated me about
yes,
this whole deal. It's like, then go talk to him about it. Like, you've seen other seasons that the producers will get you to Grant if you want to find Grant and have a moment of clarity mid-season
but
randomly,
yeah.
they'll make it work. You just need to talk to him. Like, if you need that clarity, then talk to him about it. Like,
Oh, I agree with
don't
you.
sit, don't
I'm
sit
just,
over on the side of the group date. Like, I just
yeah,
don't know. I just don't know. Like, that's the stuff that irritated me is like when she's sitting on the rock and she's like, I just don't know if you like me like everybody else and whatever. And like, it's probably only because,
I'm not laughing at her. I'm laughing at your like,
well, that's my interpretation. It's probably only because I've been putting in the work like the last 3 years that I'm like, just ask him.
yeah,
Just talk to him. Do you like me? Like you
yeah,
like tell me how you feel about our connection. Is it good? And obviously you're always going to
yes,
question it. You are until the end. Until he picks you at the end, you'll question it. But you're not going to strengthen your relationship with him by having all these little pity parties and like I just don't know if you like ask him.
yeah.
Put on your big girl
No,
pants
I agree.
and say like Grant, hey, can we go talk for like 10 minutes? Like I'm just kind of
Mhm.
grumpy, like in a mood. Like let's go talk for 10 minutes. I'm ready to snap out of this. Like I
Yeah,
just need some clarification on some things. And then I think she would have gone on
further.
even farther. But like, okay, here's
I
a good
totally
question.
agree with you. Yeah, I do. I just think in that, in all of that chaos, like, I'm sure it was just, that's why she was in her spiral. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I
ask me the
completely I
question.
see what you're saying. I think that that's a really good perspective to like share with other people who are listening to this like okay, here's my interpretation or here's my understanding of like the vulnerability piece of it.
Hmm.
Um I think that that was really well said. I do want to ask you though, what did you think about her jacket when she stood up all proud that like she had all this stuff wrote on her jacket? What did you think about that?
Yeah. I thought it was cute. I mean, I think
Do you think she did
it
it to be funny or do you think she did it to stir the pot?
maybe both.
I would be curious. I would be really curious
Maybe
because
both,
like
right?
she made a really strong statement coming out with that wrote on her shirt. Like I would hope that she was fully prepared. And she probably already knew anyways that she was going to get a lot of grief.
Yeah, that's why
But
I
like
mean
I would
probably
be
both.
really curious. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
know what really pissed me off with like the most is like when she's like, "Well, can we talk to Grant about this because I want to see what he actually said. Like, let's roll the camera, let's roll the tapes, blah, blah, blah." Like, these girls, I'm sorry. I just feel bad for him because I feel like there's just been so much nitpicking. Because
Yeah.
watching that scene back in the magic mirror, which I thought was stupid, I'm so tired of them plugging other stuff. Like,
I
that
know.
annoyed me. I'm like,
I don't
that's
like
not
that
what I'm here
either.
for. I'm not here to
But I
see them
did
talk
like,
about Mormon wives.
yeah.
I'm not here to
Oh,
see
I
the
know.
Snow White mirror. I mean, it was cute, whatever. But I was just like annoyed because I'm like, that's and poor Grant, he's standing up there like, okay, I'm gonna go along with this.
I know. So funny. But I did
Little
like
trooper.
the seeing back what actually was said because I could understand how Rose misinterpreted it.
I could see it too, kind of, but I understood what he said. I guess I feel bad for him because I understood as soon as it came out of his mouth. He's like, even on the date, like, I was thinking about you,
Yeah.
like, I noticed you. He was just
Yes.
reaffirming her.
Yes.
And, like, yeah, she took it the wrong way. But I feel like so many times this season, these girls are taking what he says and it's like totally not even what he said. And I'm like, Grant, you don't have to
Yeah.
apologize to them. You did nothing wrong. I should be more careful with my words. No, you did nothing wrong. That whole thing was not your fault. That whole thing, I want to blame both of those girls. Like, I understand that Rose thought she was talking to a friend, and I do feel bad for her because it came back to bite her. But who knows? Maybe in that situation, she was bragging or
Right.
I don't know. Like, whatever. I'm not there, wwhatever. But I
Because
just felt bad for him
obviously
when he was
also,
apologizing. I'm like, great, you
Right.
had nothing, you have nothing to apologize for. Nothing.
Right. But as a friend, don't you think that, like, if I'm having that conversation with my friend, let's just pretend I'm Rose and I'm talking to you or another friend, and I'm like, well, he said this to me. If I really cared about my friend, I would want my friend to have clarity about it. I would be telling her so she could, like,
Yeah, so she
know
could
what's
ask.
going on. Yeah, I wouldn't be
Okay.
telling her and then be like, keep it a big secret. Don't, like, because then that to
Well,
me feels
I
like
don't even
then
know
you
that
are trying to brag.
I don't know that she even wanted her to keep it a secret because she was just like there was no indication from Carolina that she was upset. Like if you would have came to me and told me that, I would have been like, "Are you serious? He really said that?" Like when he was
I
dancing
don't
with
believe
me,
that.
like he
Yeah,
was talking about
mm,
you.
I don't believe there was no indication because she also said she was talking to all the other people like after that about like, okay, wait, what did he tell you something like this? Did he? That's an indication. Like
Oh, I missed that part. I totally missed that part. I didn't hear her say that.
she was trying to understand what's happening. And so to me, I don't know. I just felt like Rose was like,
Ignorant,
yeah,
maybe. I
I
don't know. I
guess.
think Rose is gorgeous. I hope she goes to paradise because I just want to look at her. She looks like a little girl, I think, with like her big old brown eyes and
Oh,
like
you do?
her face is a
I
little
don't,
round. Yeah, I think she
I don't
looks like
find her attractive. I mean, not that
really.
she's ugly or anything.
No, I just think she looks like a little girl. Like she just like I don't know. I just think she's cute. I like looking at her. I just like every time I look at her, she just kind of reminds me of like one of my nieces or something. I'm just like, oh, look at you. You're so cute.
Well, that's what
That's how
I
I
mean,
look at her.
though. I think that's her like naivete.
Okay, demeanor. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're all naive. I don't really remember her like background story if she comes from like a good family because I was naive until I started teaching and then I realized like everybody's lives around me were like in shambles and these kids had all these horrible stories. Like I had no clue because I grew up with like my parents were together my whole life and so
I'm
anyways,
looking at my notes just to see if there's anything else that we
oh,
want
I
to say
should
because
have
we
sent
also
you
want to talk
mine.
about love.
We record on my
Um,
phone and
I,
I should have sent you my notes then you could have like because I did make
we can,
some notes. I don't know. That's what I want to hammer home is poor Grant. Like you're already in a vulnerable state, putting yourself out there, having to navigate all these relationships to the best of your ability, and then people start nitpicking what you're saying, and then you're apologizing for it. Like what a man to stand there and apologize. Number one, that's very attractive and manly in my opinion. But I just was like,
I
dude, you have nothing to apologize for. Like no you did
well,
the
I
best you
think
could like you
yes,
cannot in every conversation with multiple women who have every woman has multiple personalities by the way so not only are you dating multiple women and their multiple personalities now you have to like be even more careful about what you say it's impossible
yeah, I thought his sister like said it really well when she was like,
yeah
watching you handle all these
mm-hmm.
different women and really show up and be engaged and vulnerable with them was like beautiful. And I liked seeing that. And I completely agree. I do understand why he said, like, I need to be more careful with my words or however he said it. Because what he said to Rose was like, when we were all like on that day, and then he said when we were dancing or when there was
Yeah.
were people
When
dancing
we were even during the dancing or something
or
about
during the
it
yeah,
wasn't like it wasn't he did not say when I was dancing with Carolina.
no, no. But what I mean is like in the state of normal, react like just normal life. Maybe when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, like what he means. The reason I feel like I understood him being like, oh, I could have been more clear with that is because these women, because of the scenario, are in this like hyper competitive,
Mhm.
hyper like sensitive state. So they're going to hear like they're going to hear through that filter.
Yeah.
So, and they're wanting the validation. So they're going to hear things that they wanted to hear, like, oh, if he said this, this is what he meant. Cause like she was upset about Carolina dancing on him and all that. So obviously she would want to hear him say, I was thinking about you when that was happening. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, I could understand it, but I do think it, he, in my opinion, has handled himself really well and the best that anyone could in that situation. I mean,
Totally.
my God, it's a shit show situation to begin with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I think he's done really well. That's why I'm like, don't apologize.
Right, right,
You've
right.
done
No,
a
I
great job.
understand.
Like he's
Yeah.
gonna go down in history being like one of the better bachelors, in my opinion. Like there's been some that were just like train wrecks, but and even bachelorettes, like I feel like he's done so well,
Oh,
carrying
great.
himself all season and carrying the girls all season. And
Oh,
anyways, okay.
yeah. He's done himself beautifully.
I don't know that I have anything else
I
about
don't.
that.
I'm
I
ready for
agree with
Love
you.
is Blind.
I will say that. I do not like the attacking. I do not like whatever. Like if you're going to go on the show, I guess you don't always know like how things go, but basically they ask the same things every women tell all. They ask the same crap, they go through the same crap, whatever. Come in and have a way to clearly articulate what you're upset about. Don't just react and whine and yell and whatever. Like come in and
You've
say,
had the time to process.
yes, this is what I'm saying. I am upset because all you did the whole time you were in the mansion was run around and ask us all questions about our dates and what happened, just like digging for information to confirm or edify in your own brain that he wasn't picking you or whatever. Like, why couldn't you just go through the motions, enjoy it, have a good time, blah blah blah. Like nobody
Right.
clearly said what the real issue was. They all just were like, "You were me, 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 me." I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. I know.
Anyways, Love is Blind,
Love is
episodes 2 and
Blind.
3. This season's kind of like slow for me a little bit. Do you feel like it's slow?
I felt like the first episode for sure was, but 2 and 3 picked it up for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially in episode 3, I got a little bit of a different, we talked about how much we liked Madison, both of us. And
Yeah.
I'm starting to have a different perspective of her.
Okay, that's interesting. I was curious what you were gonna say because like she said something about in her resourced way. So like obviously she's like done therapy or something
Yeah, yeah,
because she was like trying to open up with Alex and like share stuff with him. And
yeah.
I'm thinking based on his like own childhood trauma that he shared a little bit about, like I think that he's nervous to like go into a relationship with somebody who would need like a lot of support and help because like some of the stuff that she shared with him he was like, oh, like what does that mean, like how would I be able to help you when you're acting like a robot, like what does that
Well,
even mean?
see,
I think he couldn't
right.
wrap his mind around what she was saying.
Oh, see, I thought my perspective was that because he's like, how could I help you? He wanted to know. I don't think he liked that she said you can't. I think because then he circled back to it again later. I felt like he's like, okay, if we're in a relationship together and you're going to act like that you go into this disassociative state, you don't eat, you act like a robot. I'm in a relationship with you. I can clearly notice that this is happening, right? I can maybe even possibly see the shift happen in you before you realize it's happened. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So he's like, how could I support you in that? And
Yeah.
she's like, well, you can't. There's nothing you can do. I have my own. So she's still in the hyper independent state. And I dealing with PTSD and going through PTSD therapy, like this is very normal. Okay. I just want to normalize what she's saying because that I also like can be very hyper independent and I've had to do a lot of work like a lot of practice and play to be like, let people take care of me and ask for help and ask for what I want and need. And so, yes, you can be really resourced in yourself and like know things you need. And when you enter a relationship, part of the beauty of that is that person, then you're co creating a whole new way of healing and showing up. And so, like, instead of being so hyper independent, you could say, even if it's as simple as, you know what, when you notice I'm not eating, if you just would make a really great home cooked dinner and say, I made us dinner tonight. Let's sit down and have dinner and a glass of wine. Like, you don't even have to point out, are you okay? Are you going through this? But if you notice I'm not eating, just like make a really great dinner for us. Like, that is support. But
Hmm.
she's not open, like, or isn't to the point yet to like recognize that she could receive that kind of support. And that is, in my opinion, what a marriage is about, partly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, do you think, because after she said, like, well, it's not something you can help with, like, I don't want to say immature because that makes it seem bad, but like, do you think that she just like wants to continue like doing that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she just like
Yeah, I do. I
kind of
think
wears
there
it
might,
as like a cool, like, I don't want to say a cool thing, but she like has some kind of ownership to it that
mhm,
she's not willing to part with that behavior or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, like,
I'm not saying it to be
yes.
mean. Like, there's no ill intention. I'm not like being like,
No,
oh, that's stupid to behave that way. I'm just
no, no,
curious
no,
what
no.
you think.
I don't think that you would mean it that way at all. I personally believe that we only allow in what we think we deserve or what we're ready for or whatever. And I also, and it's like healing stages, but I do also think that if we continue in a pattern of behavior, it is serving us in some way. Like, we want it on some level. So, to answer your question,
Mhm.
yeah, I think on some level, and so many people would like, totally disagree with this, but I believe that there is, like in the BDSM culture, it would be like the kink of it, but there is an attraction or an enjoyment or a pleasure or something in going into the not eating and the disassociation. Like, there's something she enjoys about it. Um, and even if she's starting to notice, like, I actually don't enjoy this so much,
Yeah.
we enjoy it at first because it protects us. It got us through whatever.
Hmm.
Like, I'll just be honest, like, I also can do that, like, where I just like, when I get stressed, I won't eat. And it's not on purpose. It's like I just am in a different universe. And I've
I kind of
over the
feel
last,
like I do it too, but I do it out of like almost like a protection for myself. Like, I almost feel like I'm protecting myself if I'm not putting anything in my body. Like, hold on, like, I
right,
need to protect myself. I can't eat.
right,
Like,
right. But then if we like go deeper into that, not that you have to right now on this call, I'm just saying,
right.
like, because for me too, like, if we go deeper into that, like, does that even make sense? Like,
No.
am I
No, but
protecting
it's like a
myself if
form of
I'm not
control.
nourishing? Right.
Yeah,
That's what I
it's
mean.
a form of
Then,
control and protection. Like, you
yeah,
think you have control and protection.
exactly. Exactly. Because you're controlling something. You can control your food when everything else is out of control, right? You're like, oh, everything's out of
Mhm.
control. I'll just control my food. And then, but there's also, for me anyway, this, so I got a lot of praise for like, or I don't even want to say praise. Some of it was negative attention, but I got a lot of attention for being small because I'm naturally small built.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh. Yep, I
so
feel that.
I had an eating disorder in high school. I was anorexic and I like would not eat. Like I got down to like 92 pounds. Like I would not eat. And um, I worked my way out of that uh, miraculously on my own without therapy or anything. But sometimes, not really as much in the last few years, but really up until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I can, and like sometimes a little tiny twinge of it'll surface, and I'm like, huh, that's fascinating. I would actually like when I wouldn't eat because I would get skinnier. But then what would happen is I would hit this point where I would be like, oh, I actually don't like this because now I don't have an ass. Hey,
Yeah.
can I pause this and grab my thing? My thing's getting ready to go dead. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, like, I mean, do you have that experience too? Where I mean, I would be like, ooh, I'm getting skinnier, but then I'm like, oh shit, I don't like this. My ass is gone. And so then I would like,
Yeah.
that would kind of be an indicator for me to start eating again.
Yeah. I don't get like to that point because I feel like eventually something will like snap me out of it. But I do know when I'm like super stressed and like stressful situations, like it takes like a really big urge of hunger for me to be like, oh, I probably should eat something or I'm gonna feel even worse like soon. Or I don't know,
Right.
like I'll pick like a random like last week I was like super stressed and I just had like a piece of sourdough toast and I had some bone broth. And like that was what I ate because I was like in fight
Yes.
or flight mode and I'm like, okay, I know I need protein, I need something in my body, but I don't really want to eat a lot or like have like a heaviness. So that was my solution.
Right. And I think
Hmm.
yeah, I do that too a lot now. It's like if I can't eat, I at least can have bone broth or like nourish myself in some way. Cause sometimes it is like you were saying in the fight or flight, like my digestion just isn't working.
Yes, I feel like
It-
that. Yeah. Yeah, like it's just like your whole body freezes and then you're just like walking around like in the very frozen state. You're like, I don't even know what to do,
yeah.
where to
But
turn.
I think what I wanted to also say about Madison that does connect with this Alex piece, one
Mhm.
of the reasons I kind of like was like, I don't know what I'm thinking about her right now is because when she met with Alex, she said, yeah, I would be good just talking to only you. And it sounded like they decided they were only talking to each other. Then she goes and meets with Mason, and it's a totally different story. And
Yeah,
I
they're
think like
like
that's
very
not,
sexual.
yeah, but I'm like, that's out of integrity. I don't like, I mean, not this sexuality. I don't care about that. I just meant her telling
Yeah, so
Alex,
like
I'm
her,
ready.
I just was like throwing that out there because I thought it was very different. Like her vibes are like, which
Yes.
I get, different people would bring different stuff out of you, but it was like I'm twerking and whatever. And with Alex, it's like, well, what was it? What's your association type or something? They talked about that,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was like,
How,
okay. And I feel like Alex kind of pulled back a little bit there. That's why I was like not
yeah.
sure how he feels about somebody who like has a lot of
Well, he
trauma
wanted,
or I don't know.
right. Well, I know that what I thought was weird that I had noted, I think it was in episode 2, maybe. She did try to talk to him about sex, and
The
he
pickles.
was like, well, even before that,
Oh, okay. I
but
missed
yes,
it.
people. There was something about it was when they were talking about like his anxious attachment, and it
Yeah.
was after
Hmm.
that conversation in that same episode. She said something about like sex or his sexual partners or something, and he was like, well, maybe we'll talk about that another time. Like he wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And
So maybe that's more of a like I don't know,
but I think
quiet
that's important
thing.
to talk about if you're gonna ask someone to marry you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would agree. Well, that's something I wanted to talk to you about too today was like I don't know. I'm just shocked sometimes. Like, I get you have to like get to know somebody and be playful and whatever, but like, it amazes me how much they don't go into like deep stuff. Or sometimes when they go into deep stuff, it's like way too intense. Like they come in with like their agenda, their frustrations about their agenda, and then they just like take it out on the other person. Like I don't remember if it was two or three,
Yeah.
like Ben and Sarah. Sarah's kind of intense for me. Like sometimes some of the stuff she talks about and he's like, "Oh, wow," and he just seems like such a nice, good guy. And I feel like she's always like, like, like beating him with a stick or something when she's like, "This is what I think." Like,
Y-
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Like she has real strong opinions.
Which is
Um,
fine.
I
That's
wonder.
great. But like, Ben was, I
Yeah,
felt like he was
I know
like
what.
trying to be like nice and understanding and like open and like reassuring. And it was just like, that's not good enough. I'm like, woo, you're intense, honey.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry you've
Like,
had some bad experiences, but poor little Ben over there is like wanting to reassure you, and you're not, it's just not happening.
right.
And
Yes.
Dave. We should talk about Dave too. Blah. I am not a fan. He does nothing for me. I don't find anything about him to be that appealing. I can't believe two girls are talking to him.
Right. Well, I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, say it.
I I think if he, I just have a feeling if he ends up with Molly, he's not gonna be happy because
Yeah.
I think because she's a dancer and stuff, he has a certain idea in his mind of what he's gonna get because he, has said from the beginning that he was like real superficial and about all of that.
Yeah, clearly.
And I really think based on their conversations, it's not that like anything's happened in the conversations that make me think like, why are they still talking? But I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like I don't see the appeal of him.
He just like when he came in the first day and he's like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" And then like from
Yeah.
there, I just feel like he has some kind of agenda or something. Like I feel like he
Yeah.
just has there's just something off about him. And maybe he's like the world's nicest guy, but the way he's presenting himself, I'm not getting there. Like I'm
Right.
not getting what he's saying. Like I just don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Well, and to get back to your point about like the deeper conversations, I just think, um, okay, just to be honest, like I could never be on this show because I would need to know like such like intimate, specific information. The questions that I would be asking like are probably not fit for TV. So
That's so
um,
funny.
I could not do it.
In that case,
And
I want you to be on because now I want to know all your intimate, specific questions.
I mean, it's funny because the things that make me think about like well, okay, I'll just say this much.
Yeah, give me like a thing, an
I
example.
think sex is like really important in a relationship. I love sensuality. I love sexuality. Like I love connecting that way.
Mhm.
And so for me,
I think those are important things to talk about, but also you got to remember you're talking to a man. So they're probably like, oh my gosh, she's probably like a nympho. Like, I would get sex all that. Like, that's how I would think a man would interpret that. You're like so sweet. You're like, I love like that connection. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to get it every
right.
time.
Well, but I do think having like you could have a lot of sex in a relationship. That's great. Why
Yeah,
not?
that's fantastic.
Um, but I do think like there's a deeper connection with it. And I like to be really like present. And I think a lot of people numb out or go outside of themselves with sex, and like I don't do that. I really have a lot, embodiment, my all my
Yeah.
embodiment practices show
Really,
up.
those would be great questions to ask them because I think that would get you your answers like really fast. And I don't think any of these people, I don't think you would end up with any of them, to be honest with you, because I mean, at least the ones that they showed us, like there are some maybe that we don't get to see that might make the cut, but I feel like when you're going that deep and you're talking about your expectations and stuff, like as far as that goes, I think you would be able to tell in like 3 seconds. You'd be like, all right, pass, give me another one. like because
Right. But I
he's not
think,
cutting it.
yeah. And I think it says a lot though. Like, okay, if you
Maybe
know
Ben.
now,
Ben might surprise you. I really liked Ben. I really like Ben. I think he's nice.
it's like if you, use sex to numb out, that says a lot about you. Or if you disassociate during sex, or you go to like porn, and which I consider that in my framework, I'm not like, I would never say like that is wrong and bad. In my framework, though, that is like almost a disassociative type of pleasure, because it is chasing this outside of yourself, like as high as you
Yeah.
can be, just no different than using a drug or
Yep.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it makes these different connections in your brain. It hijacks your dopamine. It makes actual real sex and connection not as pleasurable. There's all these things about it, right? So it would tell me a lot about just how do you engage in life? Like, do you enjoy and really find it pleasurable to sit and have some coffee and talk in the morning, like, or just like enjoy your food and all of this? There's so much wrapped up in if you can like talk about that kind of stuff about sex.
Yeah. Yes.
I would
I think you hit it right on the head. I think you've nailed it. I think you should go on the show because I think that a lot of these people go in like love is blind. I'm going to find my spouse or whatever. But like I think that the experiment actually surprises them, but I also don't think that they do it with that kind of intention in mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they plan. Like, I would be really curious to ask them, like, what is your pre planning process for going on this show? Like,
right.
because I feel like with what you're saying, it sounds like you've really thought it through. You're really thinking about, the right questions, the right things to like get to know somebody versus like, I don't know, like Madison and Mason with their like, I'm twerking right now. Oh, that's so great. Like whatever. Or I'm trying to think of another conversation somebody had. Like Joey and Monica, I think they're cute. I think they're funny. The reveals always gross me out. Like I get so weirded out by them. I'm always like, I don't want to watch this. Like I'm always uncomfortable on how they act or react. And it's like,
Theirs was, yeah.
stop. Yeah,
She
they did
was
okay.
just kept, yeah. Um, but you know
But
what? I
I
also
just thought like, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I also think like the sex conversation says a lot about like how adventurous the person is, and also other. I mean, because you could talk about like all kinds of different topics to find out if people are adventurous and their likes and dislikes and whatever. But when you talk about sex, it kind of encompasses all of it.
Hmm.
Like, you know,
I mean, the way you're talking about it, yeah, but like
yes,
the way other people talk about it, I'm like, no.
yeah. I mean, this is how I talk about sex. This is how I like for me that's the juiciness, right? Like this is getting juicy. That's the juiciness of sex, of
Yeah,
tantra and BDSM and connection and relationship. And
not just
that's what,
like turning the other person on. Cause like I feel like that's kind of like the Madison Mason dynamic. It's like, oh, I'm turning you on. Like, I don't know, just the way she kind of like I love flirting. Like I think
yeah.
flirting's cute. I think saying inappropriate things or like making elusive jokes are cute and funny.
Yes.
But I also
Yes.
feel like that's like surface level, and like
Yeah.
you're wanting to marry this person. So you need to be like at the bottom of the ocean with your
Yeah.
in-depth thoughts and talks and conversations versus this, oh, I'm twerking thing. I know I've said it like 5 times, but that's like what I
Oh,
keep
I
coming
know.
back
Yeah.
to. It's like that to me is just so like superficial, where what you're saying is like deep emotional thoughts, like, you know, even like your expectations of like your house or your family, or like what you want your family dynamic to look like. Do you want your kids to be and like active, or do you feel like being home in the evening is more important, or like
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, like when your parent with you, like how do you view your parenting style? Are you going to be hands on? You're going to be hands off? um
Mhm.
like
Even
bills, like paying bills,
yeah,
and like, are
even
you clean? Are
schooling.
you do what?
Even schooling, like what do you think about public versus private education, or like, and if it's private, what type? And like there's so many conversations. And I also think back to the sex conversation, something else I just thought of is, for me, like that is a healing modality, so it's important that my husband or partner can hold my discomfort, my insecurities, or like stories that I have, and actually penetrate them with his presence in the bedroom and transform them. And so I would want to like be able to talk about that stuff, because it's not like, to me, that's just like, that automatically happens if you're having really
Mm-hmm.
good connected sex. Um, but yes, to your point also, like the bills and the kids and there's a lot that I feel like they don't really touch on. Like I liked the Mason and Meg
Mm-hmm.
thing, because they talk a lot about, even though I understand it's like conspiracy theories or like just these different weird kind of things, they that hits on a lot of like spiritual beliefs, educational beliefs, the way you interact
Mm-hmm.
with society, the way you interact with your kids and family. They've talked about family actually and religion. Like
Mm-hmm.
it hits an idea, at least, of deeper, how you would
Yeah,
address deeper topics.
deeper, yeah, deeper values and yeah,
Yes.
connections, yeah, and even like dreaming, like, what's one of your dreams, or like your ultimate dream, or like, I think just dreaming together is something that's so important, because like, and the longer you're married and in a relationship, the dynamics change, your family changes, you have kids, like the dreams don't stop, but it's like working on building those dreams together, like, you know
Yes.
I don't know, I feel like sometimes when they're talking, it just I don't know, and it's fine, like I mean, we only see snippets of their conversations anyways, but like, I
So
don't know.
I have another thing that I did write down that I noticed.
Yeah.
Just was glancing at my notes. So I know we're almost at time, but I think this is important to touch on. So, like, Mason, okay, Meg has said, and I think she said it to the girls, but I can't remember if she said it directly to Mason, but she has said, I think she did actually. She has said that she wants to feel all of her feelings. She wants to feel the happy, the sad. She wants
Oh
to
yeah.
cry.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said
Mason,
he agreed with that. Mm-hmm.
he agreed and he wants to feel all of his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Madison said that she hates feeling any intense emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like she's like, I hate it. I don't want to feel it,
Which, I
and
mean, if you look at the different dynamics, Mason was like, "Well, you can be a part of my family. Like my family's great. Like we'll take you on. We'll love you." So clearly, he comes from a loving home. Meg clearly comes from a loving home, and
yeah,
then clearly Madison, didn't.
yeah.
So I could see why she's probably tired of feeling like you've been
But
hurt
I
your
think
whole life.
but I think that, well, yes and no, but like, isn't, so in my belief system, you must go through the pain, through the wounding, through the feelings in order to clear them and heal and get to the other side of it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
I'm
avoid them.
just thinking like as a projector, I guess I'm just thinking like I could see why she would say that because she
Well,
just
but
a
those,
long life.
right. But as a projector, like, you're really intensifying other people's feelings. Like, you can probably, if you think about how you feel in your own aura and your own feelings, you can manage them just fine, especially doing the work you do, like the
Yeah.
personal work. So, but my thing is, I don't feel that a relationship will work long term if there's someone who doesn't want to feel anything and someone who wants to feel everything. Like,
Yes, for
because
sure.
that
Hmm.
that's not going to work long term, because like the person who's happy to feel everything is going to get so frustrated, and vice versa.
Yep, for sure. I completely agree. That's a really good point. I would completely agree with that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really curious to see where this goes and like who's gonna be next on the getting engaged. I was really surprised that Monica and Joey, like they already showed that engagement, I guess. And then like there wasn't was there an engagement in the third episode? I don't think there was.
No, it was just, I think, Monica and Joey.
Yeah, which I guess technically they like finished getting revealed in episode 3, but
But
I'm
I
like,
think they were
okay.
cute. I
I
do
do
think they
think
were.
that they are cute. They're both like goofy. They both just seem like goofy and like fun together. Like I want to say like more laid back personalities and
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see where this goes. I did have some notes, but it wasn't anything. It was more of like, okay, I'm not a super big fan of Dave. Like I like all the couples I think so far. I think they I think all the boys seem nice. I do like their whole like not telling each other who they're dating kind of a thing. Because I think
Yeah. I
maybe
think
like the Bachelor girls could adopt that. Like, let's just like not talk about like
yes.
the dates or specifics or whatever. Let's just like say, yay, I had fun. No, I didn't have fun or something. Let's not like, but
Right. Well, I also am interested where this love triangle between Mason, Madison, and Meg goes, because I
yeah.
feel like I just didn't love that Madison brought Meg into the conversation with Mason after she had, especially after she'd already told Alex, like, great, it's just us. And I feel
Hmm.
like that I just don't like it.
Yeah, she seems to be very reassuring with Alex. I wonder if she knows like he's only talking to her. Because with Mason,
Well, I think he said that.
she's like showing two different sides of herself, and they're like kind of completely opposite. Like with Mason, I feel like she's just like lighthearted and fun and whatever. And then with Alex, it's like more deep, personal, emotional kind of stuff. And like, I
I
wonder if she's
agree.
not able to like have both at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I just think, um, I know we've talked before about how like a person doesn't have to be fully healed and all of that
Hmm.
in order to have a relationship, because you're always growing and changing and healing. At the
Yeah.
same time, I do think to be married, there is a certain level of self value and integrity and like the ability to really handle. And when she says, like, oh, I can deal with things in my own resourced way, yet she's showing up like these two different people, and like, it, to me, it's not great to be like bringing the other person into the conversation without them knowing. I don't know,
Hmm.
like, I just feel like there's still some work to do there, so I don't
Yeah.
know
Well, like they're kind of young, but they're kind of older. Like their ages are like late 20s, early 30s. And like
Yeah.
what you're saying about marriage and stuff, like I got married at 25, so I was younger, I would say. Like at the time I didn't feel super young, but
I
like
was
now,
19.
oh my gosh. Now that I'm like on the other side of things, I'm like, man, if only somebody would have talked to me then. Not that like I wouldn't be with Jeremy or whatever, but like I wish somebody had sat me down, and I even did marriage counseling. That tells you like the joke of that at the time. Like it was such a joke. Like to sit down with somebody and say, "Are you prepared to handle these things? How can you work as a team
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to handle these things? How do you approach this? How do you approach that? What stresses you out? What stresses you out?" Like I feel like if you're
Yeah.
stressed out about the same things, then it might not work. Whereas, like, if this stresses you out, great, because it doesn't stress me out, but this stresses me out, great.
I'll
Now
take
you
it.
can help
Yeah.
me and I can help you. And it just
Yeah.
like a team. Like, I think
Yeah. It's like that
that's the
infinity.
most important. Yes, the most important part is like how can we work together as a team? I literally just said this to Jeremy like this past week because 3 kids and we have illnesses going through the house, and I'm like, I just want to work together as a team on this. Like, I need us to be
Right.
a team because I'm stressed, and he's like, whatever. What's an illness? I don't even care. And I'm like,
Right.
ah.
Like it's fine.
So I don't know. I wish, and I don't know like what their producers do, or I don't know. I mean, I know that they can't do a lot, but it's like the whole point of the show is drama, but I feel like there would be a lot more success in it if you had somebody who could like counsel these guys as they're going through it, like a sounding board, like, okay,
Hmm.
tell me what's going on. How's this going? Okay, well, how do you feel about that? And like somebody to just like give them some not even feedback, but somebody just to listen to them and be that sounding board. Then I think the couples would have more success, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
very long tangent.
That's okay. Well,
But I
I
don't know the
think
show's goal. I don't know the producers. I don't know the show's goal. I don't know if their goal
right.
is to like whatever. I would be
Right.
curious. I should Google it. How much Nick and Vanessa make because they show up what 3 times, twice in the whole freaking show. They
Oh,
show up at the
you're
beginning.
hilarious.
They show up in the middle sometime because we haven't seen them since the first
That
episode,
never has even crossed my mind. I
and then they
love
show up
that
at
you
the
are
reunion.
right.
I
Do
love
you,
easy work.
yeah. Well, you know what I'm thinking of is I wonder if because you know how they read those printed off questions sometimes that are like
Oh yeah,
conversation starters. Well, like I'm wondering who comes up with those for them because they could have like I mean some of them it's fine to have some lighthearted ones, but like
yeah.
I feel like they could have some. I mean, I would love to write some of those questions. How
Right?
fun!
It's like asking about Whoopi Goldberg or like sexting your mom, like a
Like
tattoo of Whoopi Goldberg or
nobody
sexting your
gives
mom.
a
I'm like,
shit about Whoopi Goldberg's tattoo on your butt. Like nobody cares.
yeah, like where's the in-depth? Like I could see having it like instead of funny, lighthearted, like you said, but then like a really in-depth one that like people have not, that's a great idea. Like that they had not talked about or thought about or whatever. Like,
I would be
yeah,
like, are you familiar with the ways that people can use BDSM as a healing modality to work through their trauma? No.
you have to read it like 5 times. Hold on, what does this even mean? What? Yeah, I think those are good. I think that let's give it into the suggestion box. Excuse me, Love is Blind producers. We have a suggestion for your suggestion box.
Yeah. Anyway, all
Yeah.
right. No,
Well, we'll
we
see what happens the next two. We'll try and
yeah,
hit like 4 and 5. And then
perfect.
we'll go
I
from
will. Yeah, I'll get on it watching them.
there. Okay, let
All
me
right.
know.
Have a good
You
one.
too. Bye.
Bye.